Bienvenue dans Décryptage. Nous recevons aujourd'hui le secrétaire général du secrétariat de la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine Wamkele Mene. Avec lui, nous discutons des enjeux de la ZLECAf pour les pays africains, du développement du marché unique à ce jour et des zones économiques spéciales, comme levier de développement dont celle d'un coq au Gabon qui a reçu sa visite. Excellence, merci de nous rejoindre sur Africa 24. Vous avez visité début mars 2023 la zone économique spéciale d'un coq au Gabon. Quelle appréciation faites-vous de l'évolution de cette zone industrielle?
It was very important to come back to Nkok to tell the economic operators that we now have found a solution to this problem and that the highest decision-making body in Africa, the Assembly of Heads of States and Government, has approved regulations that will enable those goods to be integrated into the market. The second important announcement that we made, we briefed His Excellency the President of Gabon on the progress that we're making in implementation of ZLECAf. Of course, His Excellency the President was at the summit. He was there when the three important protocols were adopted: intellectual property rights, competition, and investment. These are the key areas of progress that have been achieved over the last year, and this is the announcement that I came to make in Gabon.
En marge de cette visite, vous avez indiqué que les opérateurs de la zone économique spéciale de Nkok peuvent désormais exporter sous les règles de la ZLECAf. Qu'est-ce que cela implique?
Well, it means that the goods that are produced in any special economic zone in Africa, as long as they meet the rules of origin, as long as they meet the requirements for production under ZLECAf, they can be freely traded with no additional duty. This is a very important development because you know that in Africa there are many countries who import goods from special economic zones from other parts of the world, but have not been accepting and importing goods from special economic zones produced in Africa. So this regulation has actually addressed that anomaly. We will now be able to, if you meet the rules of origin, you can export from Cork, from a special economic zone in Kigali, to any part of the ZLECAf market. And this is a very big achievement for ZLECAf.
Que pensez-vous de la décision des chefs d'État et de gouvernement de l'Union africaine de consacrer le sommet 2023 à la mise en œuvre de la zone de libre-échange en Afrique?
It's an important development because I think the heads of states understand that in order for us to make progress, significant progress, we need political will, and we need the heads of states to drive the implementation at the highest political level in Africa. And I'm very happy that they are providing that political leadership, the political ownership. You may be aware that now we have 46 countries that ratified the agreement. Comore Islands, Botswana deposited their instrument of ratification. When Mozambique deposits their instrument of ratification, that will be 47 countries. So that means that the political will is there and the political momentum is there. And so by dedicating this year, as the theme of this year, being accelerated implementation of the AfCFTA, it means that we will move much, much faster and we will make more progress. Across all organs of the African Union and specialized agencies of the African Union, this is the theme that all of them, from their individual mandate and their individual perspective, they will be implementing from their perspective the theme for the year. So it's a very significant development.
Êtes-vous satisfait des progrès réalisés dans la mise en œuvre de la ZLECAf à ce jour? Quels sont les défis à relever pour rendre ce marché commun pleinement opérationnel?
We have started trading under the preferential rules of the AfCFTA. The certificates of origin are there. The origin declaration documents are there. The AfCFTA e-tariff book is there. All of the legal instruments that are required for trade to happen are there. What we need is for state parties, and this is where the challenge is, for state parties to implement domestically to domesticate their customs procedures to ensure that their traders can benefit from the preferences of ZLECAf. This is the number one challenge, is to get more and more countries to domesticate the customs systems to enable trade to take place under the preferences of the AfCFTA. Last year, we had a very successful proof of concept where 7 countries started trading under the preferences. It was a very successful proof of concept. This year, we hope to expand both the number of countries, the scope of the coverage of goods, and also to include the area of trade in services, not just trade in goods. So we've made significant progress. The challenges will always be there, of course, but I believe that we are on track, and with the political momentum that I referred to, I think by the end of this year, we will see even more progress and more achievement in the implementation of the AfCFTA.
Plus de 2 ans après son lancement, la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine reste bien loin de son objectif de marché commun, bien que 46 pays aient à ce jour ratifié cet accord. Comment les ambitions de libre-échange en Afrique peuvent-elles être matérialisées dans les faits, au-delà des discours?
We are already moving beyond talk. If you look at all of the instruments that I've just mentioned, the trading documents that are legally valid and in existence, and then also when you look at the protocols that were recently adopted, the protocol on investment, on protection of investment, competition, and intellectual property rights, we're making progress. Remember, the AfCFTA, the onset of the AfCFTA, the start of trading happened and coincided with an unprecedented pandemic. And yet, even with that pandemic, we have been able to achieve tremendous progress. However, I think what we must understand is that we're talking about 47 different economies that we have to ensure they have consensus on a range of difficult economic policy challenges, industrial policy, trade policy, flexibilities for small and medium, small and vulnerable economies, landlocked countries, their particular circumstances. So it's an entirely difficult negotiation. However, as I keep stressing, we have made progress, notwithstanding all of the difficulties. It is not easy to reverse almost 65 years of market fragmentation, to do that reversal of that market fragmentation in 2 to 3 years. It's going to take us a long time, but we've got to start somewhere. And the starting point, in my view, is establishing the legal framework that will enable an accelerated integration of the market on the continent. It's very similar to how the EU started 72 years ago. They started by building the legal foundation for a common market and the Eurozone. That took time. So I think we must expect that it's going to take time. We have to be patient. But the most important thing is that we have political momentum. We have achieved convergence on very difficult economic policy questions, and we are making giant strides forward as a continent.
La Banque africaine d'import-export Afreximbank et le secrétariat de la ZLECAf ont signé un accord relatif à la gestion du fonds d'ajustement de la ZLECAf afin de soutenir les pays qui ont subi des pertes à la suite de la réduction ou de l'élimination de leurs droits de douane. À cette date, l'accord a-t-il produit les résultats attendus?
Rwanda is the country that is going to host the adjustment fund. It is going to be operated by Afreximbank by decision of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government. Once the host country agreement is signed, the adjustment fund will be operationalized. There is already a seed capital amount of $1 billion that Afreximbank has made available. There are countries that have already expressed interest to access that fund. So I believe immediately after signature of the host country agreement, the adjustment fund will be fully operationalized as soon as we sign the host country agreement.
Excellence Wamkele Mene, vous êtes le secrétaire général du secrétariat de la zone de libre-échange continentale africaine. Merci d'avoir accepté notre invitation. Merci d'avoir suivi ce décryptage. Restez sur Africa 24 pour les prochaines éditions.